Hello, everybody. I am just going to put in just a few links to be shared with you guys while this is going on. But my name is Terrace Goodwin. I am with Wake Up Temple, and here we go. This is our coffee and conversation regarding the upcoming city council election. As you know, or you might not know, if you're just coming across this on our page, this election cycle, our city council has 3 positions up for election. I'm not sure if it's unprecedented, but it is unusual, as typically we have 2 seats up for election at a time. They kind of roll around, they cycle through. And so this year, what is scheduled to be on the ballot is districts 2 and 3. However, our previous councilman in District 4 stepped down, and so that seat is vacant. And so that position is also up on this cycle's election. And so really, if you follow Wake Up Temple at all, you have seen that we have done these coffee and conversations in the past. Some have been in the format of one-on-one, just with myself kind of facilitating and moderating. And that would have been with the mayoral election a while back. And then in the past, we also had some panel type versions of this with some state and federal elections. This is a local election, obviously, and so we kind of went with the one-on-one type setup. And just a little bit of background: all candidates were invited to participate here today. It is important that we remain nonpartisan, as far as really just wanting to encourage the community to ask questions for themselves, present everyone with the information and access to the knowledge and the candidates, but not really encouraging them or swaying them on who to vote for. And so in that light, all candidates were invited. They were also given a list of these questions beforehand. And those who were unable to participate were also given those questions with the option to send in responses that I could share with you guys as well. Unfortunately, out of the 6 candidates, 1 agreed to participate today, and that is the candidate running in District 2, Zoe Grant. And none of the other participants at this point have sent in responses to the questions. That being said, those candidates not participating today or sending in the questions were also given the option to, if at any time they would like to fill out those questions and respond to them and send them back in, we will be glad to share that to our page and provide you guys the opportunity to hear their responses. If that does not happen, I would encourage you guys, if you have your own questions, reach out to them. And that being said, the candidate who did agree to be here today is Zoe Grant. She is running for, as I mentioned earlier, the District 2 council position. She is running against Judy Morales, who has held that position for, I think, about a grand total of somewhere near 20 years, with some off and on in there. So without any further ado, I'll bring on the council candidate who is here with us, Zoe, and let her have a couple of minutes to introduce herself and just some general thoughts on her values and her platforms before we get into the questions.
Good evening to you all, and Terrace, thank you for this opportunity. I've been with you before on the other side where I'm asking the questions, so it's an honor to be with you where the questions are asked to me. I am a Temple resident since 2016. I've been here from Denver, Colorado. I lived on the north side, District 1, on the west side, District 4, and I intentionally moved to the east side when I saw the needs for the community in District 2. My mother and father are were Temple residents. I'm a licensed minister, doctorate in theology and biblical studies, and a member of New Day Fellowship Church. I have a foundation. I am the executive director and founder of Zoe's Wings Foundation, as well as New Life Community Development Center, both to give efforts back to the community. I also own several businesses in the community of District 2. I am the niece of Robert Martin, the first African-American city Temple commissioner and mayor pro tem. When elected by the constituents, the city of Temple for Council District 2 seat in this legacy path, which is destined to be happening to warrant me the first African-American woman to sit on the city council seat. My lifelong compassion and dedication are well-being of safety and men, women, and children in the community. I'm committed to the improvements of the city of Temple that promote growth and economy and the improvements in lives of residents concerning mobility and housing. I am the youngest of 8, 3 brothers and 4 sisters, so I know how to fight to get what I need to get to. My mother and father taught us the values of hard work and dedication. My mother showed me perseverance and family first, which is what we carry in our own families. Temple is home to many relatives. My lineage goes across from the Blockers, the Grants, the Martins, Pleasants, Owens, Johnsons, and so many more I'm learning as I continue to live here. I have a 40-year-old son and a 38-year-old daughter, 3 grandchildren, 9, 3, and 1. They are the joy of my life and they make me complete. I belong to several boards, and I'm just going to put those in the chat so that you can read those later. And then I'm just very excited to be running in this position to be a voice for the residents of City of Temple. And not just for District 2, but the City of Temple.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks so for that introduction. And with that being said, we will go ahead and excuse me, get into the questions. If her opponent were here, she would be afforded the same opportunity to introduce herself. And then we would have had a back and forth on these questions. Since that's not the case, we're just going to go question by question, Zoe, and see if we have anybody in the comments. We can see how we want to respond to that. But let's get started. So question 1, what do you feel qualifies you for this position? In what ways have you previously served our community in Temple?
Thank you for that question. What qualifies me is my motivation and engagement in the City of Temple. I'm an advocate for the residents, and I'm dedicated to the service in the community which I live. With tremendous leadership skills, I bring energetic boots on the ground. I am constantly out there in the community. I will take my current advocacy for the district to another level. I am a voice for the unheard. I want to repeat that. I am a voice for the unheard. When you feel that your voice is not heard, please know that I am your voice. I am a team player for those who are leading. So I actually don't like to be in the front. I seem to be pushed that way, but I am a team player, and I don't mind working in the background. Again, I love my city, so I do what I do because I believe in where we can be. And that's why I've served on so many boards, which I have placed in the chat and in the community. And so again, I am qualified to be in this position, and just don't know that anybody who first comes into this seat is going to be new to them. And so I'm looking forward to learning not only from those who I will be serving with, but learning from the community and what their needs are and what their concerns are. So again, I walk in the community every day by helping residents with home repairs and other neighborly assistances through my nonprofit, Zoe's Wings Foundation. And so I really feel that I am qualified to take us to another level in District 2.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about you. And just since I have a little bit of time too, background on this question, oftentimes we see as community members, we see signs up, we see signs around, and we see names, and really getting to hear about what qualifies those names. What are those names doing out in the community? Who are these people running? And who are these people asking for our votes and asking to represent us? That's really important, and that's why that question is in there, because if you're just waking up today, ready to run for this election, but haven't been engaged and involved, it's a valid question to ask what your motivations are. So thanks for sharing the ways you've been involved. Question number 2, during your campaign, in what ways have you been engaging your future constituents, and what have you learned from them?
During the time of walking and talking with individuals, they shared their concerns. A lot of it has to do with, whether it's noise coming from the cars that are speeding down the streets, or the mufflers that they have on that are just interrupting sleep in the middle of the night, whether it's broken water pipes that seem to be breaking in the same spot. Reaching out to the councilwoman without getting an answer or even a call back or results from the calls that they have. I do want to point out also that I am first and foremost an individual, and I run my race individually. I have no agenda but to create a unified city of Temple. The city which I love, regardless of how long I lived here, is a great city, and that's why we are here. So my motto is a good change, and to say the things that all things that have been done in the past are not good. There are some great things that have happened, but there are some things that are in District 2 that need our attention. And when I'm elected into that city council seat, I don't expect to sit in that office until I see everything that I act on come into fruition. Somebody else is going to take my spot. And so this is how we grow. This is how we become better, is not by having that same person in that position for so long that everything is the same all the way through. We need a change. We need a change. And I am a good change for the District 2.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I'm reading some of the comments here. Okay. Thanks, Anita, firstly for being engaged and being active here in this chat. And I am also, Zoe, I believe that you shared that information you spoke about in the actual Zoom meeting. So I'm going to, we can do it one of two ways. I can either copy it and paste it, and I can post it in the comments of the Facebook Live. Do you want me to do that? Okay. Okay. All right. Let me grab that really quick, guys. And while I'm doing that, again, since we have the time, I do want to give just a little bit of education, just because I myself am active in the community and talking to folks about the election in general, and have found that some individuals are unaware that how kind of this voting process works. So we're, excuse me, for the city council election, you are able to vote in the race in which you live in. And so if you're in District 2, you can only vote for District 2. If you're in District 3, you can vote for District 3 candidates. If you're in District 4, same thing there. When you're in District 1, like myself, then we got to sit this one out, guys. And so if you have any questions about what district you're in the link that I have highlighted right now in this live, you can actually go to that voter's guide, and there is a section that shows the district map, as well as a link to the city's website where you can type in your address, and it will actually show you what district you are in. So you know which race that you can vote and participate in. And that's also important because, one, knowing which election and which candidates you need to be looking into, and as well as where you can actually vote if you're voting on election day. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But let me focus and get this pulled over from Zoe. There we go. And I'll Control V. That is what Zoe said there. All right, in our Zoom. Okay, so now that that has been added to the comments, or we can help campaign for a candidate in any district. Yes, ma'am, you are correct about that. We definitely can. If you feel as an individual that you back a candidate and you are their goals and values and platform are in alignment with yours, you most definitely can campaign for candidates and get the word out. So question number 3, in your words, tell us about your district. Tell us about District 2. What are the relevant needs and concerns that your district has?
Okay, thank you. So let me first explain the boundaries of District 2, because when I'm talking to the individuals, they either don't know what district they're in or they don't know exactly where those boundaries are. So District 2 goes from I-35 east to the Loop and a little bit beyond. And then it goes from Adams down to the Loop. And then from Adams north, it starts about 6th Avenue and goes up and kind of wavers up into Young, and then everything east of that. So it's a pretty big district. And so I just want you to know, again, look at the map, look on our website and see exactly where you are in that district. So over the years, I've gained an in-depth knowledge of issues facing our district and the community as a whole. And I'm aware of many obstacles with potential solutions. And I've waited patiently. I've been wanting to be in this seat for several years. I've even asked the current person to, she wanted to step down, for her to train me. Again, it was pushed back to, well, the city wants to push some things through. So here I am. This time I said, no, I am coming forward this position. And I'm here to announce again, I can never stop saying I am a good change. There's been some positive improvements that I agree with, but concerns in District 2 concerning growth and development that need our attention. Health and safety and mobility are big for District 2. So some of my concerns, my platform, water conservation and wastewater management, failing infrastructure and public utilities, affordable housing and housing policies. There are no policies right now that holds a landlord accountable. None, not for Texas. And so what we want to do is make sure that people are not afraid to say that they have repairs for their homes without being kicked out of the home that they live in. Failing infrastructure, there's 3 entries and exits into the east side of Temple, the 24th Street Bridge, H Avenue, and Adams. And 2 of those are in very bad shape. If you check out our YouTube, I have a showing of some of the things that are very concerning for the health and safety of our residents on that side of town. So for me to live here for 7 years and not to see anything happen, no matter how many times I've taken it to council or to my councilwoman, then we have a problem. And so the good change is that these things need to be taken care of. Yes, they may be gearing up to get done now, but how long has it taken to get to this point? We don't want to be there. And then I'm also for the builders. I do believe in growth. I'm in construction myself. I plan on building affordable housing on the east side. So I am in agreement with housing. We need it, but we need affordable housing. So, meeting with Taba over a couple of weeks ago, we need to come with a unified solution on how we can make things affordable so everyone can have that American dream of home ownership, or even being able to have a place to rent. So those are my concerns for District 2. Some of them, there's many.
Yeah, definitely. But thanks for sharing those ones with us. And our next question would be, based on what you know about city government, what do you see as top priority for the city as a whole and why?
So top priority is for the city. We need to listen to what the people are saying. We are elected into that office by the people. We need to listen to what they're saying. We need to manage our spending wisely based on our territories that someone lives in. We don't need to be overly spending on something that can take care of something that's a necessity in another area. This is for all of Temple, not just District 2. I see it in all of Temple. There are roads that are not paved in the city limits. That does not make sense to me. And I say, if you're going to do something, do it, and say and if you're going to do something, you tell the people you're going to do something, then do it. Don't just say not do it and leave it in limbo. Make sure they know why we're not doing it for you. And then prioritize equal growth and development within the city. So I also want to point out right here that we're saying, what's the top priority for the city, but the top priority for the people are, we need to be involved and we need to be engaged. You can get me elected into a position, but I cannot do things alone. You still need to participate. You still need to attend council meetings and when you can. And then let's make this city flourish together.
Definitely. Civic engagement is extremely, extremely important, a big piece of that puzzle. And then our last question that we have slated is, how can you be reached? Let us know your contact methods, any websites that you want to share with the community, because I will tell you and speak from my personal experience and what I've seen online. Is that not every candidate is easily accessible during this campaign trail. So how can people who are interested gain access to you right now?
Okay, so again, I encourage you to know all of your candidates. Don't just go by what someone is saying. I have been open since I put my name in the hat. I am and always will be open to a conversation. Call me and talk to me at 254-410-4093. And then my email is zgrant at, I'm going to say it this way, Zoe for Temple, because you forget the E. So ZOE for temple.com. My social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube is at Zoe for Temple. Website, zoefortemple.com. It's not going to change. Zoe for Temple. So remember, I'm accessible and I will remain accessible once I am in office. May I please just make this one point? If we can all think about all the elections where they were lost by a few number because they didn't think that they made a difference. So your voice does count. Your vote is your voice. And your vote is important. It needs to be heard. So I encourage you to get out and vote. Whatever the situation may be, get out and vote. But vote for Zoe because she's a good change for District 2.
Thank you so much, Zoe, for agreeing to do this and answering these questions. And I personally look forward to this race, the conclusion of it, and seeing the outcome. And again, just thanks for being here. That really shows a lot about your commitment. Showing up is half the battle, right?
That's right.
All right, so I'm going to let you go, Zoe. And since I have a few more minutes, Zoe, you might want to, I would recommend if you get on this Facebook Live after you get off of here, in the comments on here, maybe typing some of your contact information in that comment section so people who watch this can also just have it in front of them. Okay. And then I'm just going to give some general education, walk through this voter drive handout we have, and briefly mention the names of the other people and show them this voter guide. So thanks so much. So
thank you, Tara, so much.
Yes. All right. And now I'm going to share my screen. You'll probably see lots of tabs here for a second, guys. All right. Let's get this down out of the way and more share screen. All right. Thanks for bearing with me, guys, as I do this. All right, so now y'all are seeing my screen and this fun stuff. So this is the voter drive handout that we created with Wake Up Temple. Let's get that out of the way. So this has the 2023 City Council election information. Those election dates, election day is May 6th, and early voting is April 24th through May 2nd. The deadline, unfortunately, to register to vote has passed. That was on April 6th. But just to put this plug out there are members within Wake Up Temple who are VDRs. So even if you did not get registered in time for this election, you can change your address, you can get registered for any upcoming elections if you just reach out to us with a PM or an email at at wakeuptemple@gmail.com. We can set up a way to get you registered. Then who's on the ballot? So this shows for District 2, there's Zoe Grant and Judy Morales. District 3, Susan Long and Stephen Patterson. Susan Long is the current councilwoman. Then we have District 4 with Michael Pilkington running against Christine Rahm. Both of those are candidates. Remember, this is that seat that is vacant currently. Here is that district map. I'm going to blow it up a little bit. So as Zoe was saying, for District 2, this is the boundary, stretches all the way from the east side of Temple to I-35. District 1, which is not on the ballot this time, is this entire north side of Temple. Then we have over here on the west side, with a lot of new growth and development connecting us to Belton, is District 4. And this does still have the previous council member listed there, Wendell Williams. Then we have District 3 over here, South Temple, Southeast, I guess that is technically where Susan Long currently sits. And these are the boundaries there. As I mentioned before, we do have a link out. If you click that district map button, it will take you to the city's website, their political map system, where you can type in your address and it'll show you exactly what district you're in. Now, going down here, it also lists out the important dates and polling places. So early voting, that is April 24th to 28th, and that's 8 to 5. And then resumes again the following week, May 1st through 2nd, from 7 a to 7 p. And that is located at the City of Temple Municipal Building. So that's 2 North Main Street. That's where the Christmas tree lighting is, the parade is, and where a long, long time ago you used to pay your water bill. And if you early vote, it doesn't matter what district you're in, that's where you vote. Okay. Now on election day, if you wait till election day, which don't wait till election day, because I can attest, if you wait till election day, inevitably something comes up and it's really hard to make it there. But if for some reason election day is it, then that is on a Saturday this year. So that takes out the barrier for some of us of work. And that is from 7 a to 7 p. And depending on which district you're in, you have different locations that you are able to vote at. So District 3 is Thornton Elementary. District 2 is Meredith Dunbar Elementary. District 4 is Tarver Elementary. And those are those addresses. If you traditionally vote by mail, then the last day to apply for that is April 25th. So that is coming up, guys. And if you need more information on that, the Bell County Elections Office would be the place to go and contact. And then on this second page, it's just some city council FAQs. And to be honest, the majority of this was pulled directly from the city's website so that there wasn't any discrepancy or miscommunication. This is straight from the horse's mouth. And just touching on a few things here, the city council is a very important position, and I would argue one of the most important elections that you can vote in, given that the decisions that they make directly impact you on a very close level. And one example I like to give of that is if we think about in Harker Heights, recently they put on the ballot proposition, I don't want to get it wrong, but the proposition legalizing marijuana within city limits. The voters actually voted for that and it passed. And we saw the power of city council and what they can wield, when they went through that process to veto and overturn that. So that's just one example of how powerful the city council is. And if you think back to mask mandates and things like that, that was another time that you can kind of see some of that power. And in they make policies. They adopt annual budgets, which determines where your tax-paying money goes. They review and adopt ordinances and resolutions. And then you can read more over that. But then there's the city council meetings, and those are held on the first and third Thursdays at 5 p.m. There is a city council workshop immediately prior to that, where council members are presented with presentations and informations on the items that they're going to be voting on at the city council meeting. Those are held at the municipal building, the same place where early voting is located, 2 North Main Street. And those meetings are open to the public, and they do have a public comment section. To speak at any of those, the only thing you need to do is show up and get your name on that list prior to the meeting starting. And a really neat thing about these meetings now is that you can participate virtually. And so those are via Zoom. And also the city streams them live on YouTube. And there are also links to some of the previous city council meetings that you can watch should you be interested in that. All right, and then we do have a website finally for Wake Up Temple. It's nothing crazy. I'm gonna stop sharing this. It's nothing crazy, but it is something nonetheless. And so that website is www.wakeuptempletx.org. There you can kind of learn a little bit more about some of the things we do. You can reach out to us. You can connect with us, get on the email list, and any education or any events that we have will be posted there. So in closing, before I close, actually, I'm going to get over here, make sure there aren't any more comments that need to be addressed. I don't believe that there are. All right. And then lastly, guys, I didn't tell you, what I did not tell you is that on that voter's guide, there are also, if you click the hyperlinks on those names, those candidate names, I did go ahead and link that out to the available websites for the candidates. So for instance, for Zoe, if you click on her name within that document, it takes you directly to her website, her campaign website. For Judy, there is nothing. Actually, I'm lying. She does not have an actual website or Facebook presence or anything, but she does have her profile on the City of Temple's website. So I did go ahead and link out to that. So again, I'm my goal and Wake Up Temple's goal is to just provide the information for you guys to make your own decision. And so did provide that link to her bio on the city's page. Same thing for Susan Long. She doesn't have a website or a Facebook presence, but we did link out to her bio on the city's page. Let's see, Steve Patterson. He does not have a website or a political Facebook page, so there's no link out for him. And then we have Christine Rom. I did link out to, she has a political page, Facebook page that that links out to if you click it. And then for Mike Pilkington, there is no link or website there because there is not one that I know of. And that question, that was also one of the questions that was sent out to candidates as well. So should they choose to answer that and I get any information from that, I will share that in the comments here so you guys can have access to it. Because the goal is civic engagement, civic involvement, learn for yourself, ask the questions for yourself. And if you do feel passionate about a candidate and you think that they should be your next council person, then yes, encourage your neighbors, encourage your friends to get out and vote for them. And in general, encourage your friends and yourself to continue to wake up, get involved, and stay active in your community within your means, because we all have lives and totally understand that. But when we say that quote sounds cliche, be the change you wish to see, that's definitely it. That's it. It's true, because at the end of the day, these people who sit in these positions, they represent you. They are handling your tax dollars. They are making decisions that impact your neighborhoods. They are making decisions that impact the community that you and your loved ones live in. And so if you want any say in that, other than just complaining on Facebook and City Watch, which I see often, then you have to get involved, which step one is electing people who are going to get the job done in your opinion, whatever you feel that looks like. And then step two is showing up and getting active. So y'all have a good evening. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, that's it. Bye guys. Peace out. If I can get this to stop.